Stop for a pint, did you?
We encountered some resistance.
The rebels are better armed than we expected. There's markings. Look familiar?
Like many PlayStation 4 owners, I had high hopes for the Order 1886. I don't regret my atmospheric 8-hour adventure in the world Ready at Dawn has created, but I can't fully wrap my head around the direction the developer chose to take. It wants to be a groundbreaking cinematic experience, but at the same time, it tries to be a third-person cover-based shooter. It does not fail at either of these things, but in the end, it feels like a prolonged tech demo more than anything else.
Hold your fire! There's no time, Percival! We have to stop him!
Trust me, Grayson.
Where the Order 1886 succeeds is in its setting. The game takes place in England during the Victorian era. An order of knights, formerly the fabled Knights of the Round Table, protect the world from werewolf-like creatures.
The destruction of all we hold sacred. No one is immune from the rebels' influence.
Surely the Lord Chancellor does not mean to question Sir Percival's loyalty.
The alternate timeline Ready at Dawn has created is expertly crafted. From the architecture to the technology, everything fits into the universe beautifully. The gorgeous graphics certainly lends itself to the overall superb style and atmosphere. The Order 1886 is easily the most realistic looking game I have laid eyes on.
Percival, do you read me?
Save your breath, monsieur. The buildings are blocking the signal.
Accursed progress. Hand me your monocular.
Technically speaking, the game is a sight to behold. Unfortunately, its good looks weren't enough to hold my interest. The game follows Sir Galahad as he fights off Lycans and rebels in order to protect England and serve the Order. The plot comes with its fair share of twists and turns. However, I found it to be pretty predictable, mostly due to the prologue chapter, which I felt gave too much story away. The plot does get messy at times and builds up towards a somewhat disappointing ending, but I was always excited to see what would happen next. This was attributed to the well-written characters. I even found the less important characters to be interesting, partly due to the fantastic voice acting and the incredibly detailed facial animations. Nowadays, a lot of games try to emulate the cinematic experience, and the Order 1886 might be the closest game to achieve that.
You team with Galahad.
Mademoiselle will perhaps one day allow me to demonstrate my skill.
One day?
Remember, we are entering rebel territory. The insurgents...
Unfortunately, this also brings up my biggest issue with the game. If Ready at Dawn was trying so hard to make the game feel like a film, why did they make a game? The combat isn't bad, but I don't understand why it's even there in the first place. Most of the chapters consist of beautiful cutscenes, followed by a mediocre cover-based shooter section. It feels like a less competent Gears of War. To make things worse, the Lycan fights, which were hyped up at E3 last year, were incredibly underwhelming. I was expecting much more dynamic fights with the werewolves. I was hoping it would play out like a fight against a Big Daddy from BioShock. But instead, you either shoot the werewolf until it falls down, then run up and finish it, or a quick time event is triggered. The pacing is also disastrous. A good portion of the gameplay, which isn't much to begin with, consists of Galahad walking through locales examining objects.
Well, himself. I know your concerns, but trust me, he's a good lad.
If you say so.
Normally, I like when games give you a moment to catch your breath and take in the environments. However, a good chunk of the Order 1886 has you do this. It almost feels as if Ready at Dawn was trying to remind the player every few minutes how beautiful the world is. To be honest, I don't think I could tell you what was more boring, walking around looking at things, or the combat. The game also forces in some unnecessary stealth sections. The kill animations are a spectacle, but when it comes down to it, these slices feel out of place. When you are spotted, Galahad cringes and a guard puts a bullet into his head, and you return to your checkpoint. The stealth comes down to trial and error, and since the guards' paths are so scripted, I never felt that same kind of tension I normally get while playing stealth games.
Before.
That is true. Then again, we are commandeering the flagship of the United India Company's fleet.
Questions? Then let's move out.
The Order 1886 is a strange game, if you can even call it a game. It succeeds with flying colors as a cinematic experience. I'd go as far to say that it is the most cinematic game I've ever played, but everything else just feels like filler covered up with gorgeous graphics. It's an experience that I would recommend to every PlayStation 4 owner, but due to the low replay value, it's an experience that isn't quite worth $60.
Where's the Indian woman? Where is she?
Ready at Dawn created an awesome universe, and I hope they continue to expand upon it, but the Order 1886 turned out to be a beautiful, yet underwhelming experience.
Tell me!